Hello everyone, welcome to SIUI Global Live Show. I'm Yana, sales representative of Medical Overseas Business. It's a great honor to be the host of today's demonstrations. As we all know, dogs and cats have been human beings' best friends for a long time, and nowadays, with the growing care for pets as our family members, the pet care industry is booming. And just like the application of medical ultrasound on human beings, the ultrasound examinations in veterinary diagnosis and treatment is widely used. So today, we invite Dr. Jin Han to demonstrate the abdominal and cardiac examination in carnite for us. Now, let's meet Dr. Jin Han. Dr. Jin Han is the lecturer and the clinic application specialist of SIUI, with over 9 years experience in clinical application of small animal ultrasounds. And also, great thanks to Dr. Jin Han's assistant, Ms. Fang Yi, and our little guest, Pipi. Pipi is a 2-year-old female dog, and she is about 6 kilograms. And now, please allow me to give you a brief introduction of the ultrasound devices used in today's demonstration, the Apogee 2300V. It delivers high-quality images and performs outstandingly in various application scenes, including abdominal and cardiac examinations. And now, it's time to begin the demonstration. And if you guys have any questions during the demo, you can comment down below in the chat box. Our colleague will collect your questions and Dr. Jin Han will answer them after the demo. Abdominal ultrasound examination in canine usually begins from the bladder. After adjusting the beacon, the examiner will continue the scanning anti-clockwise on the following organs: bladder, spleen, left kidney, liver, gallbladder, and duodenum. For abdominal ultrasound, the dog can be in dorsal recumbency. And usually, we use the microconvex transducer to do the examination. And the first organ to be scanned is the bladder. The bladder is located in the posterior side of the lower abdomen. From the center of the bladder, we can see the anechoic urine and bladder word in sequence. On the sagittal section, the bladder is pear-shaped and can be divided into 3 parts: apex, body, and the neck of the bladder. The normal bladder word is smooth and flat, and the bladder word of a normal dog is usually 1.4 millimeters thick with extreme distension. We can use the distance button to quickly measure the thickness of the bladder word. As we can see on the screen, the thickness of the bladder word is 1.8 millimeters, which is a normal. And the bladder is round-shaped on transverse section. Adjacent to the descending colon. And the next organ to be scanned is the spleen. As we can see on the screen, the long axis view of the spleen is elongated with a thumb shape. And in transverse section, the spleen has a triangular shape. The spleen head is at the most dorsal position, and it is hook-shaped between the fundus of the stomach and the kidney. Compared with the liver and the renal contacts, the spleen is usually hyperechoic. Press the color button and we can see the blood flow of the spleen. And the next organ to be scanned is the left kidney. Adult kidneys are broad bean-shaped. On sagittal section, we can see the renal capsule with high echo density, the renal cortex with moderate echo density, the hypoarchic renal medulla, and the calycid diverticulum with high echo density. On sagittal sections, we can measure the lung acids of the kidney. Usually, the distance of the lung acids in normal dogs is 3.2 to 5 centimeters, and on the screen we can see that the distance of PP's lung acids of the kidney is 4.12 centimeters. And press the color button and we can see the blood flow images of the renal artery and then in the region of interest box, which is coral-like from the center of the kidney to the renal cortex. And the kidney is round-shaped on transverse section. And we can clearly see the structure of the renal pelvis. Animal ureters are normally not visualized. And the next organ to be scanned is the ovary. And for the ovary examination, we should switch to the linear probe. The ovaries are located caudal to the kidneys. Firstly, we should find the sagittal sections of the kidney and then tilt the probe towards the caudal side of the animal. Remain the half posterior part of the kidney. Do a sector scan to find the ovary. When female dogs are not in heat, the ovaries are uniform and hypoechoic with an oval shape. And the next organ to be scanned is the liver. In both cats and dogs, the liver is nearly entirely within the costal arch. The cranial side of the stomach and the cranial border of the liver are adjacent to the diaphragm-lung interface. And the diaphragm can be seen as an arch-shaped word, which is the bright hyperechoic light in the image. Compared with the spleen, the normal hepatic parenchyma is hypoechoic and has a coarse echo texture, usually in minimally hyperechodensity compared with the renal cortex. Using the 2-bit function, we can easily compare the echogensity of the liver and renal cortex. The hepatic echogensity consists of 2 parts, most of which comes from the portal vein, and the rest come from the hepatic artery. The blood drains into the hepatic veins and directly into the posterior vena cava. The blood vessel wall of the portal vein has a continuous strong echogensity. Only with the ultrasound being positioned perpendicular to the hepatic vein wall, the blood vessel wall will show strong echogensity. And the application of color Doppler helps to distinguish the portal vein and hepatic vein of the liver. The blood flow signal of the portal vein from the center to the periphery is red, and the hepatic vein shows the blue blood flow signals. And the next organ is the gallbladder. Gallbladder is a pear-shaped organ that stores bile produced by the liver. A normal gallbladder should be anechoic, and the normal gallbladder wall is less than 3 mm thick. On the screen, we can see that the thickness of the gallbladder wall is 1.2 mm. In dogs and other animals, the bile duct is normally not visualized. And here comes to the next organ. In order to examine the duodenum, we should switch to a linear probe. The duodenum is on the right side of the duck's abdomen. The mucosa is thick and moves 4 to 5 times per minute. On the sagittal section of the duodenum, we can see the chyme with strong echogenicity. The hypoechoic mucosa, the hyperechoic submucosa, the hyperechoic muscularis, and the hyperechoic serosa. There is a good correlation between the layers of duodenum separated by ultrasound sonography and histological structures of the duodenum. And here ends the abdominal examination. Now let's take a break and we will be back within 5 minutes. Welcome back to series Global Live Show. Dr. Zhen, please continue the cardiac examination. Usually, we use veterinary phase array transducer to do the examination. The area of acoustic lens in this transducer is only a half of that in normal phase array transducer in order to fit into intercostal space and maximize the scanned area. For cardiac ultrasound, the dot can be in lateral recumbency. And today we will use phase array transducer for veterinary application to demonstrate 4 planes from the right parasternal window. As we can see on the screen, from the right parasternal location, long acid 4-chamber scan plane. In this obtained view, we can observe the left atrium, left ventricle, right atrium, right ventricle, mitral valve, and tricuspid valve, and also the ventricular septum and other structures. The normal size of the left and right atrium is relatively similar, and the left ventricular and diastolic diameter is triple the right ventricular and diastolic diameter. And here we come to the next plane. And from the right parasternal location, long acid 5-chamber views. We can measure the diameter of the aorta and observe the integrity of the ventricular septum. And the third plane is the horizontal plane of the papillary muscles. And we will use the N mode or AMM function measurement to calculate the Fs. Following the guidance of the ultrasound machine, using the built-in calculation package for cardiology to measure the interventricular septal thickness, left ventricle diameter, left ventricle posterior wall thickness at the end of diastole and end systole. The ultrasound machine automatically calculates the Fs, that is the fractional shortening of the examined animals, and in general, normal fractional shortening is 25% to 40% in dogs. And as we can see on the screen, the result of the Fs is 38.62%. And here comes to the horizontal plane of the aorta. At this plant, we can use the calculation package to measure the LO-AO ratio. And this ratio is in normal adult dogs is found to be less than 1.5. Okay, here comes to the end of the cardiac examination. Thank you, Dr. Zhen Hang. Thank you all. And that's all for today's demonstration. Our colleagues have collected all your questions during the demonstrations, and our sales representative and will directly contact with you. And if you need further information about our products, please feel free to contact with us. And we truly hope that after today's demonstration, you will have a better understanding of how the ultrasound examination works on small animals, and also see the outstanding performance of SIUI's ultrasound devices. And thank you again for sparing your time for today's demonstration. See you next time in SIUI's Global Live Show.